Dearest listeners,
Book babes and book bros.
welcome to Book Babble. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Tanya, and today we have two special guests. We will start with Sarah. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm Whitney's PA.
And we have Whit as well.
Hi. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
We're so happy to have you on. Thank you both for joining us.
Yes. So we are ready to start our 5-minute rapid AMA. Are you guys ready to babble?
Yes.
hmm
All right, I will put on the timer.
Okay, so the first question is, can you tell us a little bit about your book and what inspired you to write it?
So, a Sea of Song and Sirens. So many things. It's not something that I could just pinpoint with one, this specific thing led me to the story. Naomi Novik, I don't know if you've read her books, but she did a Beauty and the Beast retelling called Uprooted, and I remember that I was like laying in bed reading it, and I have always loved writing my entire life, but I never thought that I could construct like my own plot or anything. But reading her book, I'm like, I couldn't do my own, but I could like do a retelling. And so that's where my mind like shifted. And it kind of just all snowballed from there. I was like, what kind of retelling and, what would I want to include and how would I make it different? And just my mind got working. And 3 years later, here it is.
That's amazing. So, are there any other secrets that you can tell us about writing or getting to I can't talk, getting to publishing your book?
So I don't feel like it's a secret. Just write it and not care about whether or not it's perfect. I always think of writing a book like I think of constructing a house. You have to build the foundation and the bones of the house and all your supportive beams before you can put on walls and paint and decorations. So, like, I think so many writers get caught up in whether or not it sounds good when they're in the drafting phase, and that's not even where your mind should be at yet. So,
I love that. That's such a good like metaphor for it.
I like it too.
And Sarah, did you have questions?
I do have a couple questions. I do not know if they're all ones that can be answered. Um, I
I'll
would like to
try.
know if any of your characters are based on someone that you know in real life.
Marin, my main character, I wouldn't say she's based off of my sister Athena, but I have four sisters, one brother, and the youngest one, Athena, shout out. She's oh my God, she's like a just spitting, boiling person of herself. I don't know. She's full of sarcasm and has so much more bravery to push the boundaries than I did at her age. And I just find myself like mesmerized sometimes with what she can come up with. And so when drafting Marin's personality and all of her sarcasm and like she's pulling a dead man into her canoe and she's like, well, hope we don't die. Like I don't know. It's just like I didn't base Marin on Athena, but she definitely came out when I was trying to think of those like snarky comments. So
I
yeah.
love that. That's so special.
It is. Okay, so how much research goes into your writing? You said you base some off of your sister and, real life stuff, but what other types of research do you do?
Um, so much research. I was a nursing student and I feel like I lean on a lot of anatomy when it comes to like action scenes and injuries, and obviously naiads heal fast, and that's not a factual thing at all for humans. But um, I look a lot towards like the medical community. I'm in Facebook groups for writing fictional trauma. Other than that, like, I don't know, setting wise, I look a lot at medieval stuff and I took a class on ancient Polynesia in college, and I just took it for the extra credit. And I fell in love with the culture. It's so different than what we experience here in modern day America. And I don't know, I've always felt myself being drawn back to it. And so when I was thinking about writing a book about a mermaid, I was like, why wouldn't I put her in like a Pacific Island type setting? And it just kind of went from there. So
That's
That was actually
incredible.
one of my questions.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so sorry for the loud noise.
I can't hear it.
We made it through the AMA section, so we will put this part on our social channels and then we're going to post the entire interview on things like Spotify and YouTube, so we'll just keep chatting. I know Sarah had some things that she wanted to discuss that we didn't quite get to, so I'm going to open the floor to her first.
I have another question, and I think it's going to be, I'm excited to see your answer for this one. Can you talk about the process of deciding at book three to go back?
Yes. No. Is this a spoiler friendly interview?
Um, yeah,
What's your
we
take
do
on
try to
that?
keep spoilers out, but if there's a way to say it without spoiling too much, go for it.
So, so if you've read the ending of book two, you know that there's a prophecy unveiled at the end of Sea of Wrath and Scoria, and it's unveiled like literally. I think it's like the second to last chapter, and so when trying to trying to format like the events in a linear way, I couldn't figure out how to tell this entire story, the backstory of Selena and her sister, and how they came to this prophecy and how her sister made the choices that she made. Um, and at first I thought I would maybe smoosh it all into book four. Um,
Hmm.
but the closer I got to wrapping up book two, the more that felt unfair to Selena and to her sisters, because there was a lot of story there. So I just decided I'll just write a prequel, and I have made it so you could skip book three. Like if you really wanted to get to book four, and I could understand why people would, but you could skip it. It's just the events in book four won't hit as hard if you did. But
Who would skip it? Like, that's blasphemy.
Yeah,
I mean, I totally understand. Like if you just want instant answers, I totally get it. So
they have to wait either way.
That's a good point. Go ahead and read it, y'all. Like, there's no point in skipping it. You have to wait either way.
My next question is, do you have more books in the Knives of Julie series after Marin and Kai's story is completed?
yes, I have five at least. I don't know when I'll publish them. I have another. Right now it's a duology, but we'll see how that goes. But I have another idea floating around in the back of my head that I'm itching to start. So I probably will write that one and then come back to this world and play around with those ideas. But um, for sure, Hadrian and Dihara are going to get a book, and um, a couple other characters that I haven't quite decided how things will come out, but I know where I want to go with it. So
So, are you
yeah.
saying five more books?
Yes, so the first three will be
Wow.
spin-offs. And then the other two, I'm thinking like its own duology on a separate timeline, but fairly close to this timeline and with some of the same characters.
I'm so excited. Yay. Anything else,
That
Sarah?
that kind of like trickles into one of my questions. I wasn't sure if I would get you to answer, which was whether or not Hadrian survives. And I know that that's a bit of a spoiler to answer that question, but in talking about that, you gave
Yeah.
me enough hope.
Hadrian survives this current series. And he has a special place in my heart. So we'll see where we go with Hadrian. I don't want him to not survive. Hey buddy, let's leave this alone. Thank you, bud.
That's so ominous. He survives this series.
We'll see.
He's one of my favorite side characters, so
He
I'm so excited to see where his story goes.
yes.
Well, Sarah, did you have any other questions?
No, I think that wraps up my questions. She did answer quite a few of them while answering other things. So that was kind of like a two birds, one stone.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Whit, I'll open the floor to you next. Is there anything that you specifically wanted to discuss or talk to your readers about that we can
Oh
start now?
my gosh. I don't know. I don't know.
You don't have to. I just like
Yeah,
to give you
let's
a.
not, because I'm so bad at that. I
Well,
need a
we can
question.
skip this part. I just like to open the floor to the authors as well in case there's
Okay.
anything coming up for them. I did want to, I always like to ask this, and so does Rachel. Like, do you have any advice for authors? Because a lot of authors watch this. So, like,
Yeah.
as an indie author, what do you have to say to other authors?
My biggest piece of advice is just to write the book and just to get it down. And I kind of said that before. What would another piece of advice be? Um, do lots of beta reading. I did probably a year of beta reading and just sending out my manuscript and working on it and sending it back out. And it really like changed and developed my story writing. And I've seen authors jump into their manuscript and then send it out to betas like 2 weeks before they send it to an editor. And I'm always just like, okay, good luck. So like that's another huge piece of advice for me is like seek feedback and don't be afraid of the feedback that you get. Because yes, it will be critical and yes, you probably need to take a day or two and recoup and rebuild your feelings, but it's so worth it.
And I do want to just like plug Sarah really quickly because Sarah does these types of things. So for any authors who needs help, she will read your book. She will be critical but very kind. It's very, very constructive criticism. I've seen the work that she does, and she is phenomenal at finding like plot holes or just like this needs to be explained a little bit more. So hit your girl up if you need anything because she can, bless you for real.
Thank you. That means
I'm
a lot to me.
I'm so excited for her to beta read. You're gonna beta read like next week for me. So
Yes, I
I'm
can't
so
wait.
excited.
That's awesome. Well, Whit, Sarah, we appreciate you all both joining us today. We're right about at time, but thank you so much. We had so much fun. And I hope that we get to have both of you on again.
Me too. Thank you so
Yes.
much for inviting me and
And
Sarah.
Thank you. It's been
yeah.
so fun.
Of course. And then one other piece of info that I wanted to put out there. We are going to occasionally allow fans to join us. So if there's anyone that you want to sit in on with us, just let us know and we'd be happy to have you on.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone. Have a good
everybody.
day.
Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
again.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.